bring Jay
Come on in,
in.
Jay.
Jay
It's like a hot topic.
You know,
Yeah.
Guys?
Tough time.
and you know, Jay.
Oh, here's one.
Yeah.
You know what I wish they would stop doing, and I say this quite seriously? I sort of blame the media because these people write a note on a crayon in a paper bag, and suddenly it's a manifesto. And everybody, I mean, if you're a psychotic person, wow, that guy seems like a genius. Every movie, every serial killer is always brilliant and sophisticated and very smart. They're not. But if that's the only image you see of these kinds of people, you're going to think, wow, I could be like that.
Yeah.
I could write a manifesto. No, it's just a psychotic note written in pencil. You know, that's what annoys me. And they give them the three names: John Wayne Gacy, blah blah blah. You know, so it sounds like something important. And I just wish they wouldn't glorify it.
You know, you've had to come back on the air, Jay, when you were doing the Tonight Show after times of tragedy. I'll remember your first night after 9/11, things like that. How do you determine when you can be funny again? How do you determine?
Well, you know, my rule was when times is serious, you do silly jokes, and when times is silly, you could do more serious jokes. You know, for example, a drunk pilot in the airport lounge, hilarious. A drunk pilot in the cockpit, boy, not funny at all. It's there's a sense of proportion to everything. Yeah, I remember about a month after 9/11, you could feel the crowd. I remember saying to the audience, if you don't laugh at this next joke, that means the terrorists have won. So everybody kind of smiled a little bit, and then I told whatever silly joke. It was a silly joke, a dog joke or something. And okay, it just sort of broke the ice, and you just need to sort of ease back into it.
And I feel like people kind of look to you. You get through something like this, and you want it to know it's okay to still laugh or still chuckle or still smile. And we look to someone like you to be the one to say it's okay if you laugh again.
Well, you know, I always say, I think the statistic is 1 out of every 600 people is a criminal. And if that one person lives in a neighborhood of 600 people and you don't catch them, you have a crime wave. But it's really only one person. Yeah. You know, and the number of people that do good things, that do wonderful things, that stand in the way of bullets and rescue children. Yeah. There was some poor mother who gave her life so her child. I mean, that's the real story. I mean, that's what we should be looking at. You're always going to have a percentage of people that are crazy or do mean things, but you know, 599 of those 600 are trying to do the right. That's why society works at all. There's not enough police. Sure. If people were really bad, there's not enough police in the world to take care of it. But most people are basically decent, good people. But these small minority, they get glorified with a manifesto and this young genius, whatever it might be. You know, that's what annoys me.
It's a really good point.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
You know, you're sticking around, which we're very happy about. You know, because you've got going to talk about Cars, a 40-year marriage.
40 years.
40 years.
Same woman.
Yes. No, 40 different women.
Yeah,
no.
Only Craig Melvin. Only Craig Melvin. Thank you so.
I like it. Like the same woman. What? I mean, you can't even conceive.
That's not true. My wife watches this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you should have
not anymore, pal.
We'll be right back.